Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another unsolved disappearance. Today's case involves the Disney cruise liner disappearance of Rebecca Coriam, a 24-year-old British woman who vanished from the cruise liner Disney Wonder in 2011. If you're interested in today's video and want to see more content like this, true crime, unsolved disappearances or strange and paranormal phenomena, feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when a video is posted. On that note, let's get into today's video. Rebecca Coriam was born on the 11th of March 1987 in Chester, the capital city of the English county Cheshire, in the UK. Rebecca had a good upbringing, living with her parents Mike and Anne Maria, her sister Rachel and her two foster brothers. Rebecca attended Chester Catholic High School and as a teenager worked at Chester Zoo, a notable zoo in the UK. Other relatives of Rebecca's had also worked at the zoo, and her grandparents, Kevin and Dolores, had a memorial bench located in the zoo's grounds. As a teen, Rebecca joined the British Army Cadets and later studied at Plymouth University, where she studied sports science. Rebecca later studied at the Liverpool Hope University before she got a job teaching sports at a camp in Maine in the US. Rebecca worked at the camp for 4 months before returning home to England. Having already worked in the US, Rebecca went for a job interview in London in 2010, which was a job offer of working for Disney on their cruise liners. If you aren't familiar with Disney cruises, these are cruise liners run by Disney. The cruises started in 1996 with 4 cruise liners: Disney Magic, Disney Wonder, Disney Dream, and Disney Fantasy. The headquarters for this are located in Florida. Rebecca was hired by Disney after her successful interview and sent to Florida to begin her training. Rebecca received her training at Florida's theme park before starting working upon cruises located in the Bahamas, which she did for 4 months. After working there for 4 months, Rebecca travelled back to the UK to see her family, which she did for 2 months. Rebecca returned to work, this time working on Disney Wonder as a youth worker, supporting children on board the ship while their parents were busy. The cruise was based at the port of Los Angeles. The cruise would be travelling through the Mexican Riviera and the Panama Canal. Rebecca did have to return to the UK briefly after starting work upon Disney Wonder as her grandfather died. Rebecca returned for a few weeks before returning to Los Angeles. Rebecca's family never saw her again after she flew back to the United States. I'll talk about Rebecca's disappearance here, before delving into more details later on in the video, as well as some more theories. Disney Wonder was en route to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, from Los Angeles. 6 weeks went by with Rebecca working on board the ship as a youth worker, keeping in touch with her family via Skype and Facebook. On March the 21st, 2011, Rebecca spoke to her family and said she would speak to them tomorrow. However, after not hearing anything from Rebecca for 12 hours, Rebecca's mum became worried. On March the 22nd, 2011, Rebecca was captured on the cruise's CCTV cameras at 5:45 AM in the cruise's lounge area. Rebecca was talking to someone on the internal phone line, wearing man's clothing and seemingly in visible distress. It is still not known who Rebecca was speaking to on the phone. A male crew member noticed Rebecca seemed distressed and could be seen asking whether Rebecca is okay, to which she says, "Yeah, fine." After Rebecca hung up the phone, she disappeared and wasn't seen again. Alarm bells began to ring when Rebecca failed to turn up for her 9 AM work shift that morning. The Disney staff on board was alerted and thus began a search of the ship to locate Rebecca. Initially, staff thought Rebecca may have fallen overboard the ship. The word of Rebecca's disappearance circulated. The United States Coast Guard and the Mexican Navy were contacted to perform a search of the area of ocean in which Rebecca may have gone overboard, though nothing was found. Strangely, instead of following standard procedures and turning the ship around, Disney ignored these orders and continued on the journey to the next port. By the time it was announced that Rebecca had gone missing, the ship had sailed for hours since she had disappeared. Disney Wonder was registered in the Bahamas, so a detective from the Bahamas police flew to the ship to start an investigation 3 days after Rebecca's disappearance. The ship was returned to Los Angeles, with Rebecca's parents being contacted. Mike and Anne Maria Coriam were flown out to Los Angeles to meet at the ship when it returned. The detective that was investigating Rebecca's disappearance stated he had only spent 1 day initially investigating on board the ship, despite previously saying he had spent several days conducting his investigation. Theories began to circulate and be suggested to the Coriams that Rebecca had been washed overboard by a huge wave, something that the Coriams didn't believe due to the walls of the ship being tall. The Coriams state that the detective investigating also stated he had only interviewed a few of the crew members aboard the ship and no passengers. The Coriams also state when they arrived in Los Angeles, they were kept in a car with blacked out windows by Disney and smuggled on board the ship once the passengers had disembarked. This suggests Disney didn't want to make a scene and privately deal with Rebecca's disappearance. Speaking to the ship's captain, he expressed his theory that Rebecca had been a victim of a rogue wave and been swept overboard. The weather forecast suggests that the seas were calm the night Rebecca disappeared, and a rogue wave could not have taken her into the water. Strangely, there was also no CCTV cameras on the deck that Disney suggested Rebecca had disappeared on, which made it easy for Disney to pinpoint a place where Rebecca could have vanished. Crew members also stated flip-flops were found on the deck, though these were too small and not Rebecca's size. A private investigator later hired by the Coriams determined the flip-flops were not Rebecca's. Rebecca was in a relationship with Tracy Medley, an American woman who worked alongside Rebecca. Theories speculated that Rebecca had taken her own life, suggesting Rebecca and Tracy's relationship was toxic and Rebecca couldn't deal with it anymore. Tracy Medley had since spoken out, stating that she and Rebecca were involved in a love triangle with a male crew member, Devon Hyde, who reportedly left Rebecca emotional and depressed. Tracy stated she and Rebecca had participated in a threesome with Devon just before Rebecca's disappearance, something that may have had deep consequential outcome for Rebecca. The last time Tracy says she saw Rebecca was when Rebecca, who had become distressed after the threesome, wanted to go out for a walk. As it was late, Tracy stayed in the cabin and Rebecca went out alone. Rebecca never returned to the room and Tracy was the one who alerted the crew and phoned the Coriams. Despite Tracy saying the threesome in which she and Rebecca participated in, with Devon Hyde, was fully consensual, Labour MP of Chester since 2015, Chris Matheson, believes Rebecca was a victim of sexual assault, although this is just speculation. Other politicians in the UK have spoken out on Rebecca's case. Baron John Prescott and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair believe Rebecca was thrown overboard rather than falling. They pushed for laws for British authorities to investigate their own citizens' deaths aboard cruise liners on ships in international waters. Theories circulating, Rebecca's parents refused to believe she would have taken her own life. They stated Rebecca was very happy at the time she vanished, something which is backed up by the fact Rebecca had purchased tickets to France, in which she was going to take her parents for a holiday. The authorities investigating Rebecca's disappearance have been heavily criticised, with comments stating the authorities didn't seem interested in finding Rebecca, nor putting in a decent amount of effort, or showed that they cared. A few weeks after Rebecca vanished, her mother was contacted from Rebecca's bank, stating recent card activity had been reported on Rebecca's credit card. Although this was mentioned, there is no more information to suggest that these transactions took place, and that this came to a dead end. Disney meanwhile played off Rebecca's disappearance as an accident that had occurred, and didn't see the point in a huge investigation over someone who had apparently just fallen in the water. Foul play and strange theories for Disney to cover up Rebecca's disappearance circulated, with journalist John Ronson pushing for more time to investigate what had happened. Not long after, Ronson decided to book himself a stay on the Disney Wonder and retrace Rebecca's steps. Ronson interviewed Rebecca's former colleagues, who stated they believe cruise ships don't usually bother if someone has gone missing overboard, usually doing a bare minimum search to avoid being sued and passing off disappearances as accidents, similar to how they were trying to pass off Rebecca's disappearance. Other crew members refused to speak, or just stated they knew the answer they had to give. It's been 11 years now since Rebecca Coriam disappeared, and there are still no huge updates in this case. Before I end this video, I'd like to know your thoughts and theories on what happened to Rebecca. The Coriam stated Disney have said there is some more CCTV footage which was going to be forwarded to the FBI. Personally, my view on this is conflicted, though I think foul play could have been involved. From research and people's statements about Rebecca, I don't think she committed suicide. From all accounts, she was upbeat, happy young woman with plans already drawn out. Again, feel free to comment below on what you think happened to Rebecca Coriam. Thank you for watching today. If you have enjoyed today's video, feel free to like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time. Goodbye.